So in this video, I'll be talking about how I think the Souls games have kept gaming interesting. Quick little disclaimer, this video is purely subjective, and by the way, I'm not saying that all games are uninteresting, but I'll get to that in a bit. Oh, and finally, my experiences are mainly from Bloodborne and after, because I still haven't played Demon Souls and still haven't finished Dark Souls 1 and 2. Yeah, sorry, but as I said in another video, I think these two are probably my least favorite of the series. But I'm not gonna go into detail since that contradicts the point of the video. To get my point across better, I will first give a little bit of bike crashing history, except without the crashing. So in a previous video, I told you all that I grew up with gaming. By the way, it's this video, so if you haven't watched it, please do after this video, much appreciated. But yeah, I grew up with games from a very young age. And I remember every time I got/played new games that it felt like something special. Even before playing the game, I tried to read the back cover of the box and the little book that you get with the game. Each game felt like a whole new experience. It was breathtaking. Even though when I was young I never finished most games I played, but it still had a huge impact on my childhood. For the last couple of years I haven't felt that excitement anymore. And it's like YouTube knows this, because I get recommended a lot of videos that cover the topic of why gaming has become boring or why it doesn't feel the same like it used to. To be honest, these days the only games that I play are games with friends. And yeah, there are of course exceptions, but I just think that most games these days are very uninteresting and uninspiring. I do have to exclude indie games because a lot of these seem to try and invent new things. However, this video is not about why I think gaming has become boring. This video is about why the Soulsborne Hero Ring, or whatever the f you want to call it, is one of the only big games that can keep my attention. In fact, these are the only games these days that can actually get me hyped. I have tried to think of many reasons, but I think there are two main reasons. Challenge. My first reason is challenge. So, the Souls series does not give a fuck about you pussies who want an easy mode. Well, okay, in Elden Ring you sort of get an easy mode, but no, there are no difficulties, just one, and it's hard, usually. And I think it all comes down to how well balanced most bosses are in the Souls games. Because when you first encounter these bosses, you will die a shit ton of times. But there has never been a boss in one of these games where I thought that it was unfair or poorly balanced. At least in the ones I have played, and excluding challenge runs. You will always, sometimes slowly but surely, see yourself making progress when fighting a boss. And the moment you actually defeat it, you get this sudden dopamine rush or something, and it feels extremely satisfying and fulfilling. I even saw this video that talks about how the Souls games can help you with your mental health. Talking about some people that compare the challenge of Souls games to, for example, depression. Giving them the motivation and think, if I can beat this boss, then I can beat depression. I really advise you to watch this video, it's really interesting to look into. And he also said something that might strengthen my point of the Souls games differentiating themselves from other games. Paraphrasing, if most games are designed to be beaten, then the Souls games are designed to make you quit, and they dare you to prove them wrong. However, I think it's not just the challenge. The game is not just hard for a dumb reason. It fits in the world and the story, which brings me to my next point. Story. So, I'm usually really horrible with stories, but how I perceive the Souls games is that you are not the main character like in almost all other games. You are not important nor special. Maybe Wolf in Sekiro can be considered an exception, but in, for example, Elden Ring, I just feel like a regular person, a person with a goal. But that does not make me special. Okay, if I can believe Reddit, then you are a special kind of tarnish that can see the light of grace. Still, when I play Elden Ring, I don't feel like the main character. It doesn't feel like the world revolves around me, I'm just living in this world. And now I briefly want to go back to the video I was talking about previously, because after watching that video, I can understand the comparison between Souls games and real life. Just like in real life, you are not special. There were and are others like you. You have ambitions and goals, and to achieve these goals, you will have to work hard and fight for it. And these challenges can be extremely difficult. But there's more. It's also the approach of narrative. As far as I can remember, the Souls games don't really have a lot of narrative cutscenes. There usually is an intro and ending cutscene, and bosses have a sort of introductory cutscene. But not much is known about the world and other characters. You simply find out by reading item descriptions, talking to NPCs, looking around in the world, etc. And what FromSoft does really well is to spark interest. There are two examples that I find perfect. Gehrman from Bloodborne and the Armored Knight from Sekiro. For now I want to focus on the Armored Knight, because the moment you push him off the bridge, he starts screaming. Some might find it funny or are glad that the fight is finally over, but I immediately wondered, who is Robert? And that is when I went to YouTube, and luckily Sekiro was already a few years old, so Vati Vidya, or if I pronounce it correctly, of course already covered the topic. And I kid you not, that video changed my whole perspective of the fight. Just to be clear, I replayed Sekiro like 4 times in a row. That's how much I love the game. So I defeated the Armored Knight at least 3 more times. But instead of thinking like, oh, it's just another boss, the backstory of the boss really makes me feel empathy. You're not just fighting an obstacle, you're fighting a man with honor, a man that has something to protect, a man with a purpose, just like you. And it's so perfect, I really love it so much. And the same can be said when fighting Gehrman. To be honest, I don't know too much about the lore of Bloodborne, however the soundtrack when you fight Gehrman is probably my favorite soundtrack of all gaming history, but that's a completely different point. What I want to say is that I listen to that soundtrack in my free time, and sometimes I listen to it on YouTube and like to read the comments. And some people are talking about how they empathize with Gehrman and that you don't want to fight for bloodlust or the hunt or the horrible dreams or whatever he says in the cutscene, but just to be able to release him from this nightmare. So instead of handing you the lore / story like most games do, here it's sort of a puzzle. They sometimes give you a little bit of information and the rest is up to you to put the pieces together. And because it's a puzzle, it sticks in your mind, creating a stronger connection. It's a very effective way to draw players deeper into the magic circle of the game. And luckily for us, we have game wikis and people like Vati Vidya, again if I pronounce it correctly, that solve these puzzles for us. Or at least for me, because I'm lazy. These are, I think, the main reasons that make the Souls games unique from most other games. Again, these points are purely from my perspective and totally subjective. If you have other points, then I would love to read them in the comments below. I know I made this video mainly with my opinion, but I wouldn't mind making other game, maybe analysis like videos with more research behind them. Just let me know if you enjoyed it. I will also play more Souls-likes from other companies in the future to see what they do wrong or maybe even better compared to FromSoft. If you made it to the end, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, watch another video, subscribe, like, comment, whatever you want to do, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, and FromSoft or Sony, please bring Bloodborne to PC. Thanks. Yeah, bye.